Welcome to the 25th episode of the GCC podcast, a milestone moment in our journey of exploring how GCCs, AI, and human intelligence are rewriting the rules of global enterprise. 25 episodes, 25 deep dives into the world where technology meets human brilliance. And today, we are not just talking about the future. We are sitting across with someone who's defining it. He's not just a GCC leader, he's a visionary voice who's helped architect India's rise from driving industry shaping narratives at NASSCOM to now reimagining global enterprise strategy and AI readiness at HFS Research. He's been where policy, innovation, and intelligence intersect. As we celebrate our 25th episode, it feels only right to bring a twist and have you hear from someone who doesn't just follow the transformation, he leads it. Please welcome Achyuta Ghosh, a thought architect, strategist, and one of the sharpest minds shaping the next era of GCCs and AI-ready enterprises. Achyuta, welcome to the GCC podcast, and what an honor it is to have you on this special silver episode of our journey.
Thank you, Suchita, for your kind words and that introduction. And congratulations on 25 episodes already. You guys just started some months back, and I think you've really raised up on the numbers. So congratulations again.
Thank you, Achyuta. I think we gathered a lot of momentum with what's happening in the industries as far as GCCs are concerned. And it was our luck to have very good voices on the podcast. So thank you for that. So, Achyuta, if we go back on our journey, we have interacted when you were at NASSCOM. I've read a lot of the reports that you'd published in the recent past. And now when you are with HFS, right? So how has your role changed between both these firms, and what's your focus on GCCs in the current scenario?
I guess at NASCOM, my role was more, across sectoral, across vertical. Everything that we used to do, I used to look at from a research perspective. HFS, it's more focused on the GCC side. And I think there are 2-3 areas that we want to explore. We're still forming up the agenda in the organization, but definitely we want to look at the location strategy that enterprises are implementing, are creating, look at the world as a delivery, including India, of course, as the hub, as the center. The second part would definitely be the AI transformation within GCCs. How can we help enable some of that in existing ones and the newer ones that come in? And the third is basically highlight the ecosystem play that GCCs are able to create at a country level. And that has become essential also for their own maximizing their, impact and gains from any country that they go to. I think so there are multiple areas we want to explore, but these are 3 or 4, key areas that we want to start with.
Okay. Thank you. So let's just fast forward into the future where GCCs aren't just evolving, they're redefining, and you know this best. What global capability means in the age of intelligence, there's a lot of redefinition that's on the way. So talking about 2030, and I'd like to ask you, by 2030, do you think the term global capability center will still define India's enterprise ecosystem? Or will we evolve into a global intelligence network, or where AI and human expertise co-create real value?
So I think great question there, Suchita. And whether we call GCC something else, I mean, we have seen 2-3 evolutions, right? From captives to global in-house centers, GICs, to today what we call as GCCs. Whether we call them something else or not, I don't know, but definitely, it will be defined, the next decade will be defined by intelligence orchestration, efficiency, cost leverage, scale, basic innovation. Those are all hygiene today, but the key differentiator in the next 5-10 years would be the intelligence orchestration point. If you look at, and what do we mean by this global intelligence networks, right? Distributed AI native human machine organizations that sit at the strategic core of global enterprises. Even in the latest NASSCOM McKinsey report that we got out recently, what we estimated is that by 2030, almost a quarter of the effort of software development and delivery will be led by agents. So humans and machines will have to really come together to work together to achieve this. And when I say delivery, it's not only third party delivery, it's also delivery by GCCs. Global intelligence network, definitely this is something that we will see happen. And I think the seeds are already there. The seeds have already been sown, right? I mean, today, if you see among all the GCCs, there almost 180 plus GCCs have established dedicated AI ML centers of excellence. Yes. Till about last year. And these are not like side labs. These are becoming core operating units. And I think more and more GCCs will start doing this going forward. So there is this shift from being just an execution node to being a strategic orchestration engine. Even that's the AI piece. And if you look at complexity, the character of work in the GCCs, right? That's also changing. We are seeing more of engineering work happen. Engineering GCC setups have actually grown 30% faster than traditional GCCs. You look at the maturity model of the GCCs, right? I mean, there's a significant chunk of GCCs in the portfolio hub and the transformation hub category today as compared to satellite or outpost categories. So we're seeing that shift happen towards the higher end of the function. It will eventually move into the intelligence orchestration function. It's already started moving in a lot of companies.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this. And that actually moves me to the next question, which is more around talent in the age of machines, right? So, if AI takes over tasks and automation accelerates the scale, what happens to human differentiation? I mean, how do GCCs really redefine talent, creativity, purpose in a world where machines can do almost everything? What is that differentiation that humans will create now?
I guess that's a question that every company in the tech industry, it's not only the tech industry, but every organization that has tech roles defined will need to ask themselves. So how does human and machine come together and work in a place where, as you rightly said, purpose is being defined by execution, by machine. So how do you really get everything together? Generative AI can commoditize routine work, right? From development, business operations. GCCs will need to rapidly configure work design to a large extent, not only GCCs, all tech companies, right? You see some of the data from job postings and all, job postings like robotic control engineers, quantum architects, AI prompt engineers, these are basically gaining momentum. And these are higher order task orchestration roles rather than execution roles that you see. If you look at salary inflation, that also seems to be moderating to a certain extent. But at the same time, skill depth is actually increasing. So people are moving from just buying people, buying headcount to building capabilities. I think that is also definitely there. GCCs are also the next generation GCCs, the newer ones are generally multi-domain by design. By multi-domain, I mean they don't do only IT or only BPO or only engineering. They do a combination of all three put together. And that also creates the opportunity for complex job roles to be driven out of India. They're also building an ecosystem development model, adopting universities, colleges, internships, trainings. I mean, these are not things that GCCs have done at scale in the past, but today they are doing it because they also want to ensure that they are having access to the entire talent pipeline rather than only one part of the equation. And if you look at India, for example, I mean, the demographic dividend that India has, I mean, that's definitely the young tech native workforce. It gives the businesses an agility to reskill faster because you've got a young workforce. The skillability is a lot higher over there. In fact, what we've seen is that upscaling investments in GCCs, we have spoken to some organizations and they've been growing at about 20-30% year on year. And it's focusing on a lot of these future ready skills, right, which you will need to work with machines, which means design thinking, AI, cloud architecture, data storytelling, right? I mean, these are skill sets that we will have to build in order to work with machines who do more of the routine tasks. And that actually leads to this profound shift in the purpose of human work in GCC. Sometimes you would feel as an output, the number of Excel sheets I've worked on or the number of lines of code I've written. I think the KPIs that you want to measure yourself going forward will probably need to change.
Yes. So thank you for sharing. And I'd like your views on the third question I have for you. There's a lot of disruption happening in the IT services domain, particularly also with the recent policies from the US, that would directly impact India. We look at GCCs as an innovation diplomat as well, right? And do you believe like GCCs will play a larger geopolitical role, becoming innovation diplomats who shape not just the enterprise strategies, but will also influence national digital policies and competitiveness moving forward.
Of course, I think absolutely this is bound to happen. And it's bound to happen because the importance of GCCs are rising as we go forward, especially if you see with all the visa acts and all,
Yes.
which actually hinder movement of people into the US. The GCCs present as a strong opportunity to really tap Indian talent and talent across the world, global talent across the world without the worry of people moving and
Yes.
still deliver the work that is done. And the bigger the ecosystem is growing, the more important it becomes. Today, 2 million people employment, right? You put an indirect multiplier of about 3 jobs for every job, that's about 6 million more that we are looking at in terms of the amount of effort that GCCs are, or the amount of impact that GCC is able to create in India. And people are taking notice. The best example of this is the amount of the number of state level GCC initiatives, policies that have been established by leading states, right? I mean, you are in Bangalore, Karnataka has one, Telangana has one, Maharashtra has one,
Yes.
right? I mean, even MP has one. So there's so many states that are actually bringing GCC centric policies, right? And they're also looking at GCCs as a way to develop a balanced regional development. So not only one big center or one big GCC hub in the country, but multiple ones, right? I mean, if you look at Telangana, they're looking at Warangal and Karimnagar as alternate GCC hubs. You look at Maharashtra, they're looking at Nagpur and Nashik as hubs that could be
Vizag
developed.
is a big one now.
Vizag
Vizag
is a big
Pune,
one,
yes.
right? So in a way, they look at GCCs to do a lot more than just create jobs or just some MNCs coming and setting up shop and creating jobs. So the targeted push that you see from the state governments and the engagement that a lot of the national level GCC leaders have with the national government, I think these are all boding well for them to become innovation diplomats, like you pointed out. And India's geopolitical position, right, which is non-aligned, trusted by both East and West, makes it this natural location for enterprises who are seeking a neutral ground for innovation and overall governance. I think there also, I think India, there's a strong scope for us.
Great. This looks really positive, and thank you for answering that one. That does have a lot of conflicts too, in the way we don't know how the next few months would be for us, but thank you. Moving to the 2035 vision, and I want to know the India advantage, saying 10 years from now, if we were to fast forward to 2035, how do you see India's role in the global AI economy? And will we be the world's AI operations brain or the innovation headquarters, which will power the next generation digital enterprises, particularly for GCCs, but otherwise also I think AI is impacting every organization today.
Absolutely. I think AI is impacting every organization today, and how the next couple of years will pan out, I mean, forget the next 10 years, is up for debate. But I would feel that if we want to fast forward to 2035, given the base that we have created or the progress that we have seen in the past 4 5 years, India's GCC ecosystem will not only be a supporting actor in the global AI economy, it will be its backbone. And why so? It's because the AI talent availability, the AI skills penetration in India as compared to other countries, the experience that they have already gained over here, the startup ecosystem, the innovative startup ecosystem, the increasing academia industry connect that is happening, supportive
Yes.
policies, government, right? All put together, India is already the GCC capital of the world, and there's no reason why it should continue to grow even further as the capital of the world in the next 10 years. The foundation is already here, almost 65, $70 billion of revenues from India, and targets are to cross about 100 billion or about 9-10% of the GCCs today are in the transformation hub category. So they already have become the transformation hub for their parent
Yes.
organizations. And that is actually a good thing, right? 10 years ago, we had zero percentage of GCCs in that particular category.
Yes.
COE is not only in AI, but also in quantum, robotics, cybersecurity. It's actually helping consolidate India's position as a strategic nerve center when it comes to AI. We've talked about talent, the neutral geopolitical positioning that India has, the alignment of different states coming together, and the unique ecosystem depth, right? We have supportive policies, the overall maturity, more than 45, 50,000 tech companies already in India. So we believe that this all means that India will not just run the operations, India will design, train, and also be able to govern them. And GCCs GCCs will become the linchpin. They will become product and platform nerve centers, defining enterprise AI architectures, not just building or consuming them. So I think India's journey from being the world's back office to intelligence headquarters is it's not a hypothetical scenario. It's already underway. So we are on the way already.
Thank you. This ends this section with a very high note. Thank you for all that positive insight. I'm moving now to the next section, which normally we have a rapid fire round with all our speakers, but we've designed this in a different way. We'd like your quick, insightful takeaway, like in a word or in a sentence, for the three questions I have for you. Starting with the first, what is that one emerging GCC trend leaders should act on right now? Like that's something they should be on the path.
I think the first one, I think there's one trend that we are talking about, right? Right now, what GCC leaders should be looking for. I think
Yes.
redesigning the operating model to be AI native, not really AI packaged or AI wrap. So that means that you probably do not need to see how AI can fit in into what you are doing, but you build your entire model around AI. So I think that's easier said than done, but you have to start right now, I feel.
I like the word the AI native. I think that's a clear takeaway for all. Then what is that one myth about AI readiness that needs to be broken? Because from the first question and the answer you gave, this really works well. That one myth about AI readiness that needs to be broken.
I think some organizations look at becoming AI ready means hire more AI people, AI trained engineers. But I think that's more of an outcome, more of it shouldn't be a KPI or a parameter. You think that it will make things happen. You will have to rewire your workflows. You will have to rewire your decision making and build your culture around intelligence. I think that comes first. Hiring ML engineers or AI engineers will not really, show that you are AI ready.
Okay, that's good. So, keeping AI aside, my last one message to every GCC leader that's building for the next decade, apart from AI. What do you think is that one message?
I think this is not only specific to a GCC leader, but generally leaders as a whole. We tend to become very possessive about what we build over a period of time. And sometimes we become very defensive also when people start asking questions or you see the world going a different way. So don't defend your current relevance, I would think.
Okay.
You need to disrupt yourself before AI does it for you. The world will change significantly in the next 5 years. Be the change rather than making others change you.
Thank you. So now, towards the end, I'd like to ask you, what is that one magic number? If you had to choose a number that defines the future of GCCs in India by 2030, what would that magic number be? And why do you say it? Could be the count of GCCs that are coming up, or in terms of revenue, what would be driving, or any other number you think you'd like to bet on?
I think revenue and all will be slightly difficult to ascertain because the kind of work comes in, where it comes in, from which
Yeah.
region, how you deliver it. There are a lot of variables out there. But what we have seen is a trend line for new GCC setups. What we've seen is that by FY25, which was March ending 2025, I think we had about 1760, 1770 odd GCCs in India. And what we've seen is in the last 2 years, approximately 60 new GCCs were being set up, right? So if you just put the trend line from that point and, 16 to 5, 300 new GCCs coming in, possible, definitely. But what we see is that, a lot of the mid-market opportunity is still underutilized and there's a huge
Yes.
amount of headroom there. Almost 30,000
Yes.
organizations, mid-market organizations globally are there. And with GCC as a service models coming in, right? Smaller GCCs are having it easy to come quickly set up, consume
Yes.
GCC as a service. And a lot of the IT companies, IT service providers have already set up GCC arms in the last six
As
to
a
8 months. So,
practice.
so I think that these actions actually accelerate the number of GCCs coming in, say from 60 to 90 a year, right? 50% increase, we kind of enhance it. So
Yeah.
from 300, we're looking at 400 to 450 new GCCs
Yes.
coming in. So the magic number would be 2,200 to 2,250 or something on those
Yes.
lines. That's the aspiration that I would have. But I think the baseline would definitely be 2,100 to 2,150. So that we should
We're
definitely
looking,
achieve.
yeah, we're looking at it 1,200 by 2030. That's a number. And thank you for that encouraging spiel you gave on the mid-market players coming to India. As Gateway, we've been targeting a lot of nano GCCs and mid-market players coming to India and making their setup easy, right? From talent to infra to operate all of it. So thank you so much, Achyuta. This conversation has been a masterclass in how GCCs, AI, and enterprise strategy converge to build the future of work. Thank you for being part of our 25th episode, the silver edition of the Gateway podcast. And to our listeners, stay tuned because the future of GCC isn't just being researched or reported, it's being designed right here by leaders like Achyuta Ghosh. Thank you again for listening in.